Hey everybody, what's going on? It was another busy week for the Montreal Canadiens, and there's plenty to dive into. But before we do that, let's talk about today's sponsor for this video, which is the BetStamp Sports app. If you're a sports gambler or looking to get into the space, you're going to want to utilize this app because it gives you plenty of perks, specifically with line shopping. Look at the Calgary Flames and St. Louis Blues games tonight. You'll be able to see multiple different sports books on this app, and you'll be able to shop for the best possible price that you can get in this contest. The Calgary Flames are currently big favorites in this matchup, and for example, on the BetMGM Sportsbook, you can get them at minus 225 on the money line, but on North Star, you can get them at minus 204, and you're obviously going to want to take the minus 204 price. So this application is very good for line shopping and just giving you the overall best possible price point that you can find for this game. One of the common themes this season is obviously going to be discussing the development of some of the young players on the Montreal Canadiens, and one that is currently standing out is Juraj Slafkovsky. There's a clear emphasis on working with him and with the Montreal Canadiens skills coach Adam Nicholas, and I think that what they're going to do with him is continue to give him little bits of information to continue to learn and practice so that it can help his overall facets of his game. Look, he has 5 points over his last 8 games. Now, you're not looking for production from him this season. You're looking for those little bits of development, and I think you're starting to see that in his game, especially down low. He's doing a really good job of protecting the puck, winning those battles along the boards, using his big frame. What's scary about the prospects of this kid is that he's going to eventually add some muscle to his frame. He's kind of frail right now, but you're going to see him continue to build this body up, be able to play at this NHL speed and pace that it's currently setting at. And I think that's one of the biggest adjustments for him right now, is that he's been able to finally slow the game down a bit, play at the pace of the NHL level, and kind of think the game the way that NHL players think the game. And that's a big reason for the recent surge in his point totals. But I think you're just seeing a more overall confident player right now, which I found it really interesting because I thought Slafkovsky had a really strong first 2 periods last night against the Anaheim Ducks, but the Montreal Canadiens just didn't really have a lot going for him. And he only received, I believe, 2 shifts in the 3rd period and was demoted to the 4th line. And that's the first real time I've really started to question what Martin St. Louis was doing with him. And I do believe that there is a reason behind what he's doing with that information, but I just didn't think that Slafkovsky deserved to be in the position he was last night in that 3rd period, because by all accounts he was one of the more effective Montreal Canadiens forwards throughout the first 2 periods. I don't know that it sends the best message to him if you're saying, look, we don't really need you in this 3rd period because we're looking to find more of an offensive spark, when I thought he was doing a good job of that in the first 2 frames of that game. Development is obviously going to be the major theme this season for the team, and even if the Canadiens end up picking 8 to 13 in the next year's NHL entry draft, the Florida Panthers haven't exactly been a juggernaut this season and are currently on the outside of the playoff picture looking in. So there's obviously a chance that the Canadiens could have 2 top 20 selections in next year's NHL entry draft, and those would go a long way in continuing the retool, the rebuild, whatever you want to call it, just adding players that can potentially be top 6 or top 4 defensemen. That's all you're looking to do in these situations, and I believe that the Montreal Canadiens are going to find some of those, especially when you consider what they've been doing in the scouting department with their skills team, just all the little things that they've added to this team as a whole. They're all going to start paying dividends over the coming season. And I think you're going to start seeing some of these young players, whether it's Philip Mazar, Lane Hudson, those type of players, Owen Beck, they're going to make a difference at the NHL level. And a lot of that credit is going to go to those players, but it should also go to the Montreal Canadiens development staff too, because you're looking at this development staff in a different way than the Canadiens have operated over the last 10 or so seasons, and it's going to make a big difference in the overall impact of this team as a whole. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are about Juraj Slafkovsky of late, and if you're starting to see little bits of growth to his game that will ultimately make him a really solid top 6 winger at the NHL level. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.